Hi guys, welcome to Photo Tutorials. In this episode I'm going to show you how to alter skin tones with a bit of retouch work. It's a technique called frequency separation, and to do it we just need to create a couple of layers. The reason why we're using this technique is because what we want to do is we want to even out the skin tones. As you can see on this image here, we've got some pretty much all over the place skin tones, high and low, shadow areas which we want to adjust. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of skin detail, but we want to try and keep that detail in the skin. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to create a copy of the image, and we need to do 2 copies of the image. So in order to do that, we're going to go to Control J or Command J on the keyboard, and there we have our copied layers there. And what we're going to do is we're going to rename these. Okay, now a lot of people rename them high frequency, low frequency, but I'm just going to rename them top and bottom, basically. You can rename them anything you want, but this is what I'm going to call mine, top and bottom there. And there we go. Now the first step into the frequency separation technique is we're going to add a blur to this bottom layer, and to do that we're going to go on filter, we're going to go on blur, and we're going to go to Gaussian Blur. Now there's a couple of other more options you've got here. I have actually used 1 or 2 images with a surface blur, but I think the Gaussian blur is about the best. And what I want to do is I want to reduce this and get a bit of skin tones in this little box area to see where we're going. Now what I want to try and do is I want to try and even out these skin tones. So around about 9.6 pixels on the radius will do me. And once we've done that to the bottom layer, if you just toggle the top layer on and off by toggling on the eye, that gives you the selection that you've just made. Okay, so you can see the blur there. Okay, now once you've done that, click on the top layer and we go to image, apply image. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to click on bottom, leave that on subtract. It's usually set to normal, but we'll leave it at subtract. Set your scale to 2 and your offset to 128. You can have a play about with these figures. Okay, and you just click OK. Now then, straight away you get this sort of grey looking image, as if you've put like a high pass filter on, like a sharp and high pass filter. Now what we're going to do is, while we're on this top layer, your blending mode here in your layers palette is set to normal. Okay, we're going to go down and we're going to change that, and we're going to change it to linear light, and as you can see your image comes back. Once you've got your image back, click on the bottom layer, excuse me, zoom in, not out, and we just zoom in on the image because we're going to start now correct some of these skin tones. And I'm just going to switch over to my graphic pen, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the clone stamp, which is this tool here. Okay, now set your clone stamp to lighten, which it already is, and you want to select in this layer box current layer. It may be defaulted at all layers, but change it to current layer. So we're just using this bottom layer because that is our current layer. Okay, and what I've done is I've just reduced the opacity and the flow rate, just to see what it looks like. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to concentrate on this little dark patch here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a selection from an area round about there, which is here, and I'm just going to give that a go to see what it looks like. And as you can see, that's started to lighten up our skin tones in that region there. And basically all you want to do now is you just want to go around and just even out those skin tones. You know, any dark areas is to lighten them up. Put some shadows going around the nose. And what we want to do is, if you have a look at the detail around the eyes and the eyebrow area, we've got some lovely detail in the eyes, nice crisp sharp detail. We want to avoid that because we don't want to bleed that out. We want to try and keep that. So all we want to do is we just want to be working on the skin tones. So try and avoid any areas of detail that you want to keep, like the eyes. And what we're going to do is we're just going to lift these shadows under the eyes. I'll just reduce that brush slightly. As you can see, that's just putting a little bit more light into there. And I want to try and lighten up this nose, front of the nose as well, if I can. And we do the same to the other side. Like I say, keep moving your selection around. You know, don't just select a point here and then expect to do the whole sort of eyelid, because you won't get a consistent result. You have to keep moving your selection around. You know, try and pick the nearest point to where you want to add that sort of highlight texture. And as you can see, that's sort of done a fairly good job of just lifting those highlights. If we can just come around here a bit and like I say, you know, once you've got everything set up with the start of this technique, it's just pretty much a bit of patience, really. I'm just going to reduce the opacity of that because I'm going to try and blend this selection in a little bit better. I think once we get to there, that should probably about do it there. I think what we'll do is we'll just fill in a bit of these shadow areas around the mouth as well. Just lift them a bit. And we'll just do this area on the right side here. And we'll do, I think we'll get rid of this shadow on the neck. We'll lighten that up. Take our opacity up, back up to 40%. Excuse me. We're just lifting that shadow off there. I mean, to be honest with you, we don't want to be removing all the shadows, because shadows adds a bit of depth in that image. You know, it just adds a little bit of dimension. So we don't want to be taking all of those shadows off the face. You know, obviously these areas here, you know, and these areas could be lifted a bit more. But to be honest with you, you know, you can go a bit too far with this, and it looks a little bit out of place. So just try and you know, take a step back and monitor what you're doing, and if it doesn't look right, undo it. And basically I think we're just going to leave that for now. But if we toggle on and off, you can see the difference that we've made there. You know, we've just increased. These are a couple of more areas that we need to go over, but you can see how it's made an improvement on the tonality. I think that area of the nose, yeah, that's looking pretty much even now. Okay, so we'll leave that for now. Now what we've got that bottom layer sorted, we're going to go on to the top layer. And what we're going to do for the top layer, we're just going to go in and we're just going to sort of touch up little areas. And to do that, I'm going to use the healing brush, and we do the same again. The healing brush is, we just make sure we're on the current layer, and I'm going to reduce that size of that brush down a bit. It's about right there. And all we're going to do, is we're just going to, these sort of like little areas like there, these little blotches, is we're just going to move our brush about and just try and fill them in a bit. You know, we're just gonna respot, which is commonly known in the wedding industry, where we spot our prints. Years ago, before we had the luxury of digital and software, if we had any marks on our images, highlight areas, or especially on the bride's dress or skin tones, we'd use like a spotting pen to get rid of any marks. But now we've got the luxury of Photoshop. Just gonna sort of blend that hair in, a little loose eyebrow. So what we're doing is we're retouching the layer with the detail, and we're not removing any detail. All we're doing is we just respotting parts of the image, and just touching up any marks that's on there on the skin. And all I'm doing is I'm just using the Alt key to make the selection near to the bits that I want to remove. Once you get the hang of it, it's a great technique. It'll really bring your portraits to life, really. And you know, you can use it on any type of portrait. I mean, I've used it on an older gentleman who had some lovely skin texture, and I just altered the tonality of the skin tones a bit, and it was absolutely brilliant when it was done. So don't just think you need to have studio quality images. You don't. Have a go at any image. This technique will really improve the look of those skin tones for you. Really will. It's a great technique. Frequency separation. I've actually remembered how to say it this time. I did another tutorial and I've created a bit of a blooper. I've actually put it on here on my channel. Have a look at it. It's quite funny actually, but I've got around it anyway. So basically this is all we're doing, is just retouching that up. So we're going to leave it at that for now because I don't want to bore you to death. I've shown you what needs to be done on the image, and I'll just show you the before and after. And what you can do is you can play about with it and you can have it looking as good as you want. So that's the before and that's the after, and as you can see, it's just improved those skin tones slightly. But if we have a look and zoom in, we've still got the skin texture and the detail there. Okay, and basically if once you're happy with that, all you need to do is click on layer, flatten the image, and you go back to one layer again, and that brings your image up, and there you've got some greatly improved skin tones. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and I hope you found it useful and helpful. Give it a go. You'll be quite surprised, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how well your images comes out. So that's a quick tutorial on frequency separation, on retouching your skin tones or airbrushing your skin tones. Very simple once you know how. Just keep practicing it and hopefully you'll have some great fun with it, and good luck with your photographs, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.